true.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report. Yeah, it is Wednesday. It is September 24th. We have a lot of red here on the hourly, seeing some pullback in the market. In fact, if you take a look right there on that chart right above my shoulder, we're getting a nice reaction right at the 1-to-1 Fibonacci line right there. You guys can see it right there. Nice reaction. It's been our resistance here since we broke below that level on the 21st. So 3 days now, we've been stuck beneath that 1-to-1 level. Guys, we're going to take a look at that. Also, as the thumbnail said, $150,000 Bitcoin by December. Flip a coin. It's either that or we have 40 days left in the cycle. We're going to break down both of those. Scaramucci making some pretty bold target calls for December, but we're going to take a look and see what we see on the charts also, guys. Either way, it don't matter. We're prepared. We know what to do here at the Academy. We just patience, and the deeper it goes, the heavier we drop that hammer. Guys, it's time. You know what time it is. Take your seats. Get your notebooks out. I'm back. Class is in session. Let's go. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Morning Market Report right here on the Piper Academy Network. I appreciate all of you guys and all the support that you guys have sent my way about Gypsy. I'll give an update on her in a little bit. And then also shout out to BC Port Corp and OC for holding it down. Matter of fact, speaking of the OC guy, let's go ahead and bring him up. Co-host extraordinaire, the Mexican Superman, looking debonair today, bro. What's up, man? How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I'm exhausted, man. Exhausted. I've been working on the kitchen throughout the night right before going to bed. And man, it gets me really, really tired putting out, because let me tell you, like, here the houses are all made of center block. So it's not like just what is it? It's not cardboard. How do you call that? A drywall sheet, right? So, well, then I'm pumping up those muscles and also remodeling my kitchen.
Oh, so that's what all that working out was for, was to get your body prepped for some manual labor. I get it. That's cool.
Exactly.
Well, I'm sure it will turn out nice. OC, you do some good work around your house there. So, Austin, I appreciate you guys holding it down for me, man, while I was dealing with Gypsy stuff. A little update on her. We've changed our vet. So she had all kinds of issues, and it's been happening after she gets her shot. She takes shots for she takes Cytopoint for allergies, and my wife asked the vet, well, look, 2 months now, she's had this reaction about a week after getting her Cytopoint, and is there any way that's involved? And she's going through the whole thing, and this nurse just kind of like snapped back, like, I'm not trying to argue. We're gonna do blood work, and I don't have time to argue about this. We're gonna do blood work. It's probably pancreatitis. Okay, you're the expert. Aye. Yeah. Long story short, she never got a call back about the blood work. We actually paid to have that blood work done in-house instead of being sent out, so we had it quicker. Never got a phone call about it. When my wife finally got a hold of the nurse's office at the vet, the doctor had left for the day. After we paid to get the updated one for today. And by the way, this is one of the highest rated veterinary offices here in the area that we're in of Dallas. So, but anyway, I digress. The ended up not being pancreatitis, and I did some research on what she said. No, it's happening too late afterwards, so on and so forth. It's called late onset immune reaction, and it's something that is known about Cytopoint. So is the veterinary world also pushing their medications and protecting the pharmacists and manufacturers? I don't know. But for someone who completely blew it off as nothing, and that is not even possible for us to find, through ChatGPT. Thank you very much, AI. All of this info on it. Pretty interesting. So yeah, I think we're changing the vets, but she's feeling better. She's still not 100% there, but lethargy. diarrhea. Sorry for the dirty language on the microphone. Puking, no appetite, all these symptoms all in line with late onset immune response to the cytopoint injection. So yeah, we're going to be going to get in a new vet. Oddly enough, ChatGPT diagnosing this. I read an article yesterday about a guy back in 2013 or 2017, maybe it was 2017. He had some issues with digestive stuff, and then all of a sudden, like, got done eating, couldn't even finish eating, felt like he was bloating so much that he couldn't even drive. Went to the emergency room. They told him, probably something like constipation. we're talking shit today, okay? We're that on the show today, evidently. But anyway, they gave him some laxative. He goes home, ends up going to the hospital. It got drastically worse. Matter of fact, it may have been exacerbated by the laxatives. And then he went home and went to the emergency room. They did a CT scan. His intestine has twisted. There was an emergency surgery. Took out 6 feet of his internal organs there, and move on forward in time, 2023, this guy's been through many specialists, many doctors. No one can really tell him why he's still having all these digestive issues, to the point that he quit going out because he could only eat like very bland things, rice, stuff like that, just very bland food. Anything else would throw it off the rails, right? And he's, out of curiosity, threw all of his symptoms in his medical history into ChatGPT. ChatGPT identified one of the 3 things that it could be. One of them said it was this thing, nailed it. And he put, okay, well, what foods are there that are in this category? And it gave the list, and he cut those things out of his diet, and completely fine. So there you go. ChatGPT out diagnosing all the medical specialists that he was seeing. And I think ChatGPT might be onto something with this Cytopoint shop. So there's the update on that, guys. Story time with Army Piper today. But Gypsy, I appreciate everyone throwing all that love for Gypsy. She's doing much better. AI will replace doctors in 5 years or less. Matter of fact, let's bring the chat up here. I don't disagree with that at all. Wix Wi-Fi 89. I think it's going to replace doctors in 5 years. Interesting thing that I'm really concerned about is, what about lawyers? Paralegals, at the very least, could be replaced with ChatGPT today. Okay. If that is the case, and paralegals are replaced by ChatGPT, a paralegal is not a lawyer. They're pulling they're pulling records and setting up forms and all that stuff. But that is where most lawyers get their start off experience and their internship time for law. So what do the lawyers look like down the road when no one has done this pre-stage time of basic building blocks to build up to be a great lawyer, right? It's going to be interesting to see. So, lawyers, that's insane to think about too. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, it's when ChatGPT came out 2 years ago or whatever it was, I came out, my Greg, rip, rest in peace, Greg, up in heaven. My stepdad, if you guys don't know, he's still alive then, lived with us. Greg and my wife were watching television, and I came in and I paused the TV. I said, "You guys have got to see this. This is incredible." And it was ChatGPT. I pulled up ChatGPT and I put it on the screen and said, "Check this out." Airdropped it onto the screen, and I started showing what ChatGPT was doing on answering questions. And I told it to write an award for shooting expert at the range, marksmanship at the range, and everything. Like, it wrote it up in military format, no joke. And I said, this is going to change the world. Everything in the world just changed. The future will be nothing like we think it is right now. And that was 2 years ago when it first came out. So it's interesting to see. It may have been longer than that. I don't know how long ago it came out. But yeah, it may have even been longer than that. But I said, this is going to change the world. And I knew it back then when it was at its basic form of ChatGPT that it was going to be a big deal. So let's go see who all's in the chat right now. We got Wix Wi-Fi 89. BC Kimmel really didn't say anything hateful, though, truly. No, I don't think he did either. I agree. Emma Coiner, it's not even left for. Oh, wow, we are getting political in here today. I'm talking about Chat GPT and medical and doctors and AI. You guys all went political. I love you guys. You guys are awesome. Let's go to the top and see who we got in here. We'll move away from the political stuff. I just don't get on that thing about talking politics because I was just indoctrinated over 20 years in the army that you're in the army, just don't talk about politics. So put on your uniform, go to work, right? Alexandra G, good morning, Army Piper and OC guy. Have a great stream today. Shout out to the mod queen, Alexandra G, in the house. Trade Intuition, bingo, bango. T.I. Joe's always here with us. We appreciate you, man. Dylan VA, Jesse Gellick. Uncle Jesse said he came over because Randy, Randy Hipper, I saw her post. She is not feeling well today. So she skipped a show today. So we got some of the people from over there too. Mike Vollmer's in here. Buck said, good morning, you chart nerds. Good morning, you crayon eating empire building MFer. Buck told a great story yesterday in the Discord. He said he's down in another city. I won't say where it's at, but he's staying at a hotel and he's working on Bitcoin mining equipment. And so he got a bunch of the immersion fluid. It's the liquid cold setups that he has. He got a bunch of it on his skin, and he looks even uglier after that affects his skin, just so you know. He gets all red and swollen and hivey. And anyway, yeah, even uglier. It's sort of like that. Yeah. But believe it or not, Buck can get uglier. No joke. But he came back ready to jump in the shower at his hotel room, and he walks in, and there's a guy standing in his room. Evidently, their room got double booked, and they didn't realize it at the front desk. And the guy goes, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm in this room. And he goes, well, I think we got double booked. We may need to go down to the front desk. And Buck said, I'm jumping in the shower because he's got this fluid all over himself, right? He said, I'm jumping in the shower. And the guy just stood there staring at him for what felt like many seconds. And Buck just said, look, you're about to see my dick. Just straight out. And the guy was like, I'm out, and just left. So yeah, shout out to Buck. Great story from him yesterday in the Discord. And I could absolutely see Buck just dropping something like that. I could absolutely just see it. Like, look, you're about to see all of this in full glory. No shame. That man has no shame. So shout out to her. She canceled the show. Yep, that's right. Wix Wife Fine 89 here. Ada Ace is in here. Two Dove, we appreciate you always, lady. BC Port Corp, all sets in here, says good morning, Army. Emma Coiner. Hi, Emma. If you guys don't know who Emma is, she is the other sister of Randy, Randy's Hipper sister. So Emma Coiner. Always great to see the family members around here. Her and Randy, really, really great people. So love them all. Who else we got? JR, our trader from our community, is in here. Man, I just haven't hung out with you guys in so long. I'm just happy to be hanging out with the alumni, man. I'm telling you, Donato Cabrera is in here. Ninja Glock. Lunar Beaches, LBC in the house. How's that baby doing, LBC? Have to give you a call, man. Haven't talked to you in a hot minute. Yeah, I think that's about it. If I missed anybody. Oh, Average Crypto Joe. I see you. I think that's about it. I think I got everybody in here. Robert Mulligan. Cool. All right, guys. Appreciate everyone here.
The ChatGPT thing here. Yeah, I put on all of my symptoms. It comes out like as coffee and orange juice abstination, man.
I'm done with your BS today, OC. Let's go get in on a chart. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's get into the news. I appreciate everyone that's joining us here. Beautiful Wednesday, September 24th. It's actually not beautiful here. We just had a massive thunderstorm and the thunder was rolling. I was contemplating, do I do a show today? Or do I go take a nap in the rain? That's not in the rain, but while it's raining. You know what I mean. OC, CJ Taylor, I see you, bro. That's my brother Clyde right there. Appreciate you being here. OC, what do we got on the chart, man? Let's go.
Perfect. Let's go. By the way, something that really surprised me, yesterday, a non-F Ethereum was actually asked about, right? So yesterday night, shout out to Kelly. Kelly actually brought up hey, can you do a Ethereum Classic analysis? And I was like, what?
Oh, we've talked about that a lot.
Good kind of Ethereum. What?
we talked about ETC a lot this cycle, man.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to give a quick update on, hey, we decided to hedge because we have two order blocks, top and bottom. Yep.
I'm going to hand it right over to you, but I got to give a shout out to Shimitris and Rashad. Both of them joined the show here, so appreciate them. OC, what do you got on F Ethereum, the ultimate F Ethereum ETC?
So well, ETC is actually the non-F Ethereum because it's the one still being mineable. So that's a good kind of Ethereum. There we go. And we were looking for a hedge. Why? We are still within a sandwiching here. If I turn on my indicators, you'll see that not only we have the VRVP right here, a little bit sticking out to the right here. And well, this is it. We had a high order block. Not only that, the previous order block in the previous area right here, it was sorry, the previous order block was around the same area. Seems like it's been scooching over to the upside. Still, let me bring up the rest of the indicators. We have a ghost trend line right here coming through, and we also have, there we go, a FIVP. Well, we have an FIVP POC all the way right down here. So looking at how things are starting to match up there, well, we decided to make a hedge. All right. So regarding on what's going to happen, well, then we went for a hedge. So at this point, we went very quickly to the downside. We still a little bit underwater, which is normal. I mean, just going for that stop loss and then without getting stopped out and pumped. Look at that, to the target number one. Right now, we're coming back down. I'm still holding it, but this is the second candle already body in week in the green. So it's time to move our stop to entry. Let's go back now to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, we also are into a trade right now. And yesterday we were talking about, hey, jumping in here at the very last minute, waiting for the actual price action to get up here. In fact, yesterday we were right here. I was about to say, hey, let's short this thing because we're going down, we're going to zero. And then I start pulling out the indicators and stuff, just so you guys know. When you see me doing the analysis, I also do the analysis for myself, and I just try to be vocal and loud about what it's going through my head, so you also can get the feeling on how is like feeling, trading and having, anger, passion, happiness, FOMO, fear, everything combined, right? And how it's handled through the analysis, technical analysis, right? So we had a little bit of a thing here, and I decided to move my entry all the way up somewhere around 112. In fact, my entry was slightly above. I was not able to take it in here. It was not getting it. Therefore, I moved it slightly above, and it went right there, somewhere around this, in between these two lines. So we are already into a short position. We'll see if we can make it to the downside. And that's interesting because look at where is our resistance. Very quickly, and I want to update this, move your stop slightly bit above this resistance, and that is to avoid getting stopped out at a week out. Just wanted to make sure, because this one should have just a little bit more based on the volatility weeks that we have had recently, right? So it's a little bit it was a little bit smaller, so we could get stopped out with no reason, right? So other than that, if we start looking at things, let me just bring up the order blocks. We had a high order block right down here, and we have not much up above in this area. So this means that we can start rejecting out of this zone, and we have not yet broken through the zero line. So any resistance might be good enough resistance to bounce the dynamic reactor off of it. Really quickly, just to bring up my linear regression oscillator, we are at the top at the resistance in here. All right, at the trend line, at the line resistance, but we are not yet crossing over. This is not happening, which means we might not have the strength to break through that resistance completely. So just be careful. Most likely, we're going to have something like this. It have one more movement really quickly. I do expect Bitcoin to start hitting the 110. the 108, which actually is a little bit higher than the 107. The 107 is my actual target. Yes, and I also have another one in 106, which is just to alert me for the center of the order block of 105. All right. Just so you know, open order. I have an open order at 107, 700 and 105, 700. All right. So that's what I got so far. I am expecting maybe a flash crash, something like this. All right. And if we measure that from the loose of the support, look at where it gets us. And then, well, we still gonna have enough time to get to all-time highs by December. So that's what I got, Piper. I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit bearish. What do you think? And what do you see in Bitcoin?
Yeah, I'm seeing similar to that. Let me go ahead and bring it up here, and there we go. Army chart. There we go. What I'm watching here, I'm watching us hit this wall here of sell-off, and every time we've hit this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times now, we've hit this one-to-one line, $113,000, and it just looks like this is a area where we're keeping sell off. Now, I will point out too that we do have a blue oscillator line here. You guys see it right there. It's on its way up, but it could be a zero line rejection. This does happen quite a bit. Not recently, but there we go. Back here, we had it where we had this drop down after a dump. You can see that there. And then we created a lower high. Nope. Can I draw? Drawing tools. Thank you. Lower high and then a lower high. And then we did that zero line rejection for another drop down. Could see something very similar to that here again. So of course this isn't necessarily a lower high. It's kind of a broadening wedge flag going on here, but it would be a lower high from here if you look at where we rejected on the golden pocket here back on 18th September. So watching that closely there. I will point out the volume is kind of flat right now, but money flow is in the red. That is this red wave right here that you guys can see, and it looks like it's starting. It's angled up a little bit, but it looks like it's very poised for another push to the downside also. So that's what I'm watching there on the 4-hour. We'll get into the top down here in a little bit, but some bullishness here on setup that I'm watching. But bottom side on that, we're looking at 109. I think 107 is where we do come back and bounce. 107 to 108 would be a golden pocket bounce here. Looking at those oscillators, though, here in just a little bit. Let's go ahead and jump over into the news, OC, and let's talk about everything we have going on over there. Looking at the Cryptoverse, Into the Cryptoverse metrics, link down below if you guys want to pick this up and get all of their data. But yeah, let's take a look at what they're saying here. Crypto market cap right now sitting at $3.902 trillion. The trend line on this sitting at $4.4 trillion. We are currently undervalued 11.36. It seems like every time we get close to that median line of fair value, we get another sell-off on the markets. Maybe that's an indicator we should start watching, OC. We're getting very close. We're in the top -6% or less, and then we get another sell-off. And this is what we've seen quite a bit here lately, moving away from that red median logarithmic band there. Looking at the current risk levels on Bitcoin, nothing to be shocked here about, nothing to be scared, worried about. We're at 54% on the wristbands, meaning it's still a 2x DCA. So if you haven't done your DCAs this week, you might want to. I'll take a look and see what those best days are for 2025 here in a moment. We'll give that data to you guys. But check out Bitcoin dominance, guys. Bitcoin dominance picking back up again. And we talked about this when we laid out, hey, look, this is what an altcoin season looks like with the top 50 altcoins. This is how long it needs to last to really be sustained, right? And when we put it out, I said, all right, we're officially in the 75% ban on risk, 75% ban for alt season. How long will it last now is the big question. It looks like right now we're at 57.7% with stables. Take them away. We're at 62.27, and it looks like we're starting to get a little curvature here on Bitcoin dominance. Is this thing going to start coming back up? We're going to keep an eye on it and let you know. Looking at the altcoin season index right now, we are at 75 again. It's currently alt season according to this again. Even though, let me refresh it and make sure that is recent. I want to make sure I got the most recent data in here. Yeah, 75 is currently alt season. We're back inside of this red band here on top. This is based on the top 50 tokens and 75% of them having a ROI greater than Bitcoin for the last 90 days. Of course, we hit some good pump up levels on some of these tokens and then turn around. What do we get? We get a big sell off. So remember, you can get tokens like, Aster, which had been on a tear. You can get like the Solana takeoff that happened, or, BNB even. It's the only green token this morning, it looked like, for a while. Those can actually send this metric of 75% of them being in the higher ROI for that 90-day window, despite them having their sell-off start to happen after a peak, 60 days ago plus. So, but right now we are seeing Bitcoin dominance, like I said, make a return back up to the upside. So we'll have to see where that goes to. Let's go take a look at the best day to DCA. No, not time and wristbands. Best days to DCA, and let's put this on 2025. Thank you very much. And let's go to January 1st, and this will look at the entire year. Some of the stuff we go over in our Discord right here for you guys. Looking at the best day to DCA for 2025 right now is Sunday for Bitcoin. Sunday is the best day to DCA, second best day Monday, and then Tuesday. So DCA today. How this runs, just so you're tracking, this chart shows the best day of the week to DCA based on the average percentage difference from a moving average. For example, using the 7-day simple moving average, a value of 1 on Sunday would indicate that the price on Sunday is on average 1% higher than the average price for the previous 7 days. Therefore, the day that has the lowest value on this chart is the best day to DCA. So again, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday since for this whole year. So if you guys didn't know, now you know. Wednesday is the worst day. Shout out to Alexandra G, dropping 5 Piper Academy gifted memberships. We appreciate you. Chris Wrights, shout out to you, man. I see you there. Michael Tierney, Gear, and Blair Stevenson all picking up a gifted membership. If you are in the chat, guys, go check it out. You just got a membership and you got access into the DCA dynamic DCA Piper plan over there. Let's go take a look at liquidations in the past 24 hours. Nothing severe here. We saw the past 24 hours that 123,944 traders got liquidated. Total liquidations came in at $285.53 million. Largest single liquidation order was on BitMEX. It was XBT for $4.22 million. How about X? Let's see what you got here on the bookmarks for me, X. Fear and Greed Index right now. Look for Bitcoin sitting at 44, currently neutral. I think there's actually a cleaner one or newer one here, I should say, a refresh one. Nope, still 5 hours ago. Okay. So haven't done one in 5 hours, sitting at 44 and neutral. Damn close to hitting fear there, by the way. Ethereum Fear and Greed Index is at 40. It is also neutral right now, close to that fear level. And then I got this post. I wanted to see what it was. This is from the Kabisi letter. Individual investors. We'll read this together for the first time. I saw it when OC was talking about his chart. I was like, let's drop this on and see what he's saying. Individual investors' cash levels are low. Retail investors' allocation to cash was 16.5% in August, one of the lowest readings in 4 years. This percentage has fallen approximately 3.2 points since April. By comparison, the long-term average has been about 22% on average since 1987. Individual investors now hold 67.3% in stocks, just below the June 2024 multi-year peak of 70.5. They also hold 16.2% of their capital in bonds, roughly in line with the readings over the last 4 years. Retail investors are all in on this market. And we talked about this a couple of weeks ago on the show. I said, look, guys, bottom line is if you don't have assets, smart assets, you're probably going to be in trouble in the next 10 years because I don't see a way that this stuff starts to level out really with the dollar weakening, the global economies that I just don't see a way for it to level out too quickly. And so if you really look, and there was a video I watched the other day, and I've said this for about a month now, if you look at the euro versus the US dollar, the euro is crushing the US dollar. And if you look at Bitcoin versus the euro, we haven't made a new all-time high since January of this year when Bitcoin hit its all-time high. And then after that was when the dollar and the euro started to deviate from each other. And that's where the dollar was really dumping hard, and the euro was just kind of doing nothing and winning the race, right? And so if you compare that to Bitcoin pricing, Bitcoin versus the euro, no new all time high, Bitcoin versus the U.S. dollar, stock market versus the U.S. dollar, all pumped up their getting higher. Why? It's not because those assets have necessarily gone up in value. It's because the amount of dollars that it takes to buy them is higher because the dollar's value has lessened. So when you see these all-time highs after all-time highs after all-time highs hitting on the stock market and on Bitcoin, what you're really seeing is the dollar shrinking, the purchasing power of the dollar collapsing and getting crushed under it. So yeah, I think if you compare that new all-time highs keep being hit, what you're seeing is beating out the dollar valuation getting weaker on the dollar. So if you don't have assets, you're going to be in big trouble down the road. So these guys all in, not holding cash, and that's probably the smart move. That's why we DCA. We're just going to continue to roll it in. Don't just let it sit in the 0.015%. Put it somewhere it's going to make money while you're in your dollars to put into in a very methodical, strategic way to get invested. But yeah, definitely get your assets. That's all there is to it. Looking at the markets this morning, guys, Dow Jones up just slightly at 0.12. The S&P is flat at 0, and the NASDAQ down 0.02. On the downside, Russell 2K is only up 0.07. And then VIX, 16.66 there, points to the upside. It's getting close to 17 where we start to see all that volatility kick in. Let's go ahead and take a look over here. And look at what we have on the euro. Euro at 0.13% to the downside. Stock 600 there. The DAX is up 0.26 FTSE. So Europe markets overnight, little mix there. Asian markets were mostly mixed. We did have the Nifty 50 and the ASX 200 to the downside. How about the bonds? Look, we cut rates. We're good right now, right? We'll get some cheaper mortgages. We did get a little bit of a lower mortgage rate this morning. However, look, 10-year yield continuing to the upside and in the green. Oil overall, energy up. Hey, I got a question. Energy sector. Didn't a lot of these companies invest in green energy under the green energy bill so that they could go, look, we're investing in the future of energy too? Why is energy so freaking expensive, man? All of these green initiatives pushed by the federal government, and our energy bills have done nothing but go up. Cheaper energy is what they said. They said it would be cheaper, powered by the sun, and powered by the wind, yet everything just keeps getting more expensive. Yeah. Not buying it, bro. Not buying it. Gold getting a little pullback. This morning, gold was at $3,800. It is down 0.73% today, almost a full percent. Still sitting at $37.87. Don't get it twisted, but did hit that $3,800 mark and get a pullback. Silver is at $44.28. I do think $50 is in range for a target on this, but getting a little bit of a pullback today too. Still holding above $44 per ounce. Copper is up 2.85%. Platinum and palladium both selling off a little bit today. Palladium down 0.7%. Platinum is down 1.32. Let's go over here and take a look at the economic calendar. 30-year mortgage rate, just told you about this. Came in this morning, slight drop there, 0.05% to the downside. 6.34 is now the average 30-year mortgage rate in the United States. Not affordable, guys, not affordable. New home sales. Did we get this data? This came out at 9. Let's refresh. This should be updated. There we go. Was at 0.664 million. They're expected to be 0.65, 0.64, somewhere in there. New home sales, 0.8 million. Guys, people are buying new homes. Why? Because of this mortgage rate right here. New home builders, shout out to Crypto Billy if he's in the chat, but new home builders, they can go and buy large bundles of like, hey, we need $500 million in, whatever in mortgages, right, at this rate. And so they'll buy this rate out for a big amount of money backed by all of their properties. And then they turn around and they can go, okay, we're going to run a special this month. Well, we'll do 4.99 or we'll do 3.99 for the first year. And then if it's eligible to be refinanced at that point for a better one, they can, or to go to 4.99, whatever. Still better than 6.34. So a lot of new home sales are doing that. And then also on top of it, they can go, okay, well, look, the house price of this house, this is happening a lot, by the way, where you're not seeing house prices really drop for you to sell your home, but you're seeing that how, like, look, the comps here, that house just sold, it sold for $650,000. Your doesn't mean that your house is actually going to get that much. Why? Because that was a new home that they sold, and they didn't drop the price, but they threw a whole bunch of free upgrades on top of it. So really, they got a $750,000 to or $800,000 house, depending on how, if they maxed out all the upgrades, but they didn't pay any more money. They just took that off. And so yeah, we're seeing new home sales absolutely crushing the market right now, especially if you're a existing home seller that trying to get rid of your house. New home sales month over month up 20.5%. Was negative 1.8, expected to be negative 1.8. Look at that, new home sale month over month up 20% this month instead of the forecasted negative. How about rate cuts? How are we looking for October on this? October 29th is going to be our next FOMC rate cut. And how are we looking here? 94.1% chance of a 25 basis point rate cut, 5.9% chance that we do not get a rate cut going on. No change, just a pause. We'll have to see. I do think we get a 25 basis point in October, though, at this point. I really do. How about Max Payne, guys? Let's talk about Max Payne. Max Payne. Max Enjoyment Coffee. All right, Max Payne on Bitcoin right now, guys. This is going to be for your shorts, meaning that what level, where will the price have to go to make people that are in short trades right now feel the most amount of losses across the board? $118,795 is the level for that. And then looking at 108,998 here for your long Max Payne, meaning this would cause long traders the most amount of losses, be about 109,000 really is what they're seeing here on this. So I do have an article we're going to talk about in a little bit, OC. It has to do with that. Bitcoin to $150,000 by Christmas. We'll have to wait and see. We'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, let's go and take a look over here, OC. I want to take a look. We're breaking that one-to-one line. So let me pull you up here with me and we'll see this. We're breaking this one-to-one line right now on the on that fib level. That is the one-to-one. There's your 0.87, your 786. Breaking above that right now. We're starting to get there. That level on Max Payne, what was that at? Max Payne on this was at 118,795. Let's go back and take a look at the chart. 118. Man, that's going to be up here back above the golden pocket. I don't think that happening. I don't see that happening. I think that if we do get above here, we're looking at this resistance level, support level, resistance, and then support. This is a big play level here at 114,485 that we would have to break through before I would get that bullish. But why do I talk about these higher time frames so much? Well, because guys, this top-down analysis can really tell you what's happening. It's just stepping away for a second, right? And getting into the broad view perspective, being able to see past the hand in front of your face. Sometimes you got to zoom out, take a look. We are right now getting all of our bounces on the 0.5 fib. Where is this pulled from? This is being pulled from the bottom that we had on June 22nd to the top that we had on 14 August. And this fib level that we've had here, look, we came down to the golden pocket. We got a bounce, came up, front ran on the 236, lost the 382, and now we're back down to the 50. If we lose this level here, I am going to be watching the dynamic reactor here. This is coming in between 110 to 109, but I really think the level to watch, I'd love to see this hold, but you can see we wick down below it here. And historically, that is what we do. Candle closes in here, but wicks down. I think that we come down into this and we wick down to the 618 golden pocket, 108 range to 107 range, and then massive buy pressure pulls us right back in, absorbs all that sell-off, and right back into a close on the dynamic reactor, which again, that's going to be like 109,745, looking at that level for the wick down. So Mike Bulmer, what's going on over here? Thanks for the membership. You're welcome, Gear. Chris Wrights, I see you too. You picked up a membership today. Alexander G dropped those for you guys. Let's take a look at these oscillators. We do have a histogram continuation here on the daily. This is giving us an indication of the bearish signal here. Also on the MACD normalized, we are breaking below that zero line here on the Oscillator Pro. Volume coming down, and we still have quite a bit of room that we can run on the RSI. How are we looking on the weekly here, OC? Let's go take a look. Looks like we're doing a nice little saddle here. Got to back in the saddle. Yep, right there. Little Aerosmith back in the saddle again. Money flow's coming up on the weekly, but look here, small candles, and typically when we see these, we get a little downside move or we get an upside move. Look, small candles, more downside move. This could be setting up for another sell-off on the weekly, in my opinion. Looking at the RSI primed Heikinashi candles there, but this 50 line in the sand, 111,379, 50% fib line that we're watching there. I want to talk about this real fast before we get into the altcoins, OC, because according to this, we have 42 days left in this cycle. This is looking at November 3rd, October 31st, November 3rd, that week for the end of this cycle. Historically, we have ended, and this is mathematically equated from the time of bottoming and all that stuff. We are looking at this historically. The top has either happened before or at that line, and that was pretty much it. This is 42 days. If you actually break it down on the daily, because I'm looking at this on the weekly, this won't open up on the daily, this indicator won't. We are seeing 40 days from now before the end of the market. OC, I know that you're more the mindset that we see it go and roll in all the way into December. And that would be in line with what we're seeing on this article here. Bitcoin to $150,000 by Christmas, according to Scaramucci, making a bold call on CNBC this week. Anthony Scaramucci, the founder of Skybridge Capital and managing partner, has once again underlined his conviction that Bitcoin can close 2025 at $150,000. Scaramucci defending his outlook and maintained that that year-end target is there for him. He attributed recent dips to seasonal weakness and framed his outlook in terms of long-term trends in demand. He restates that price target of $150,000. He said it could drop below $100,000, but he also projected 90, 80, and 75 as possible, or surged her towards $150,000 fairly quickly. Despite these swings, he reiterated that his forecast for November, December remains $150,000. So he's looking at a big pullback, potentially big pullbacks, and then a massive rally. OC, your thoughts on this, and then what do you got on the chart? And maybe you can lay out a little better look for all of this.
Absolutely. So, well, to be honest, I'm just getting with my prediction. I'm thinking that we might have a final rally up to December, depending on the cycle. And this might change as we get closer. I mean, it's not mine. It will absolutely change as we get closer in either I mean, stay or move will be just going into December on how people are spending their money, and that has to do with the job numbers. Sorry, I just was multitasking. That's why that was a little off. But we've been seeing two different kind of things happening going to December. One, when there's job in the market, we see crazy spending. So people investing, people spending, people giving away first investment things like Bitcoin, so on and so forth. And we see a pump of Bitcoin price, right? That happened last December. Not only last December, the previous December, right? So 2 Decembers in a row. And when we have bad job numbers and people don't have the actual jobs to actually push into Bitcoin, well, then we start seeing Bitcoin being cashed out on around November for Black Friday, and then on December for Christmas. And that is because, well, I don't have that influx of money. I already have Bitcoin sitting there, and it's basically not doing much. So I take profits on Bitcoin to buy gift, pay rent, or just pay whatever you need to pay, or get whatever you need to get on Black Friday and Christmas. So I would say that we have till November to see how that November Black Friday affects the price of Bitcoin, and that will be the first directional indicator on whether we're gonna be seeing a December pump or a December dump. on Bitcoin. But yeah, that's what I got. In the meantime, just looking at piece by piece.
Let's check it out on the chart, and then we'll go run into talk about gold. We are getting a little pullback today. Is there opportunities there? And then let's take a look at some altcoins.
Absolutely. So let's go take a look at a couple of altcoins. Here's where we left out on XRP. And really quick, I was looking for a re-entry. I have not yet a re-enter right now in XRP. I'm waiting for, oh, of course, my oscillator that is not there. Let me just make it reload. But let's go check this out. This was XRP straight. Remember, right here, we were going for a low, taking profits as we were speaking, also maybe aiming at the previous low right there on the purple line. All right, so let's see, let's check that out. So right here, we were taking profits as we were speaking yesterday, and of course at the purple line right there. All right, so we had taking profits, and the thing actually blew up. All right, my next area of re-entry was, in fact, as you can see it just ringed right around this area, but I'm not ready to jump in, and that is because, well, we're breaking with strength that zone. If anything, I would kind of like wait just one more candle to see this reversal that seems like it's going to be an imminent, and try to catch a little bit higher, maybe even something about this zone. Let's go back really quickly to take a look at Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is getting to that resistance. All right, so we could hit a stop out in here, but that is fine. Remember, that's why we use a stop loss. And if we do, well, then we're going to be looking for a re-entry. All right, if we have a breakout retest and we hold the retest, well, we're going for a long. And if we break back inside the megaphone, we go for a short. Talking about other things that we're looking into, or that yesterday we looked into, it was a Solana trade. All right, so Solana trade, we had two possible entries in here. Let's go check out Solana. This is where we left out. Basically, we had the very first try jumping in here. We barely missed that entry. The second entry right here, that's where we were supposed to be jumping in with the flip of the ribbon right as we go down. So TP number one, TP number two, that was not hit, and now it's coming back up. Guys, move your stop to entry if you haven't, or if you haven't take the second 50% out. And since I haven't, this is the time for me to call out almost everything on my trade. All right, so I'm leaving another 25% in, just in case, all right, this thing decides to come back around and then break back inside. But most likely, we're going to hit previous resistance and you're going to get stopped out. So you better get stopped out at profits. We talked about this yesterday, all right? So there is time to call out your shorty here on Solana. And let's take a look at a couple of other things, like, for example, CRV. CRV, we were looking for that long, and then remember that I was looking for this short for a long time, and I missed it because it happened on Saturday or Sunday. I don't quite remember, and I was just doing kitchen stuff at that area. So right here, we enter for a long. TP number one went higher, coming back down. TP number two a little bit lower in here, and then of course, remember, as we are on profits, we move our stop to entry, and what happens, it is that our last 25% got called out right there. All right, so basically stopped out at profits. So that is it. And something important, let me go to my alerts. We have CRV on September 23rd, so basically yesterday at 8 or somewhere around that area. All right, something knocked on my window. All right, so other than that, looking at this, we had a support area, and now we're bouncing perfect, but we're already out of that trade. Something important that we're going to be looking for, it is the next area of rejection that we're getting very close to. So I'm going to add another alert, and I'm going to be looking for one of two, either rejection for a short or breakout for another breakout continuation for a long. So haven't decided just yet. We need to be there and then look at the oscillator. How is it looking? So that's what I got so far. Oh no, wait, Link. All right, Link. We were looking for an entry on Link.
Link
First
to
entry
$800, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. So guys, selling
$800
car. Do
chain
you have
link.
a
Yeah, that's
car?
what I heard. I
Yeah.
heard that from somewhere. Somebody said that.
Yeah, it's 100% possible. I mean, get it. I get it. I mean, look at that. We're just about. Of course, that is a joke, guys. Of course, that is a joke. So don't sell your house. Don't sell your car. All right, you still need to make it to work. And remember, don't kill your golden egg chicken at this point. If you haven't moved fully to crypto, don't kill your job. All right, that is the one paying for your food, for your rent, and for your education, for trading. All right, so be smart about it. All right, so really quickly, we were looking for an entry right here and a secondary entry here for a total of 1.5 of an entry at these areas. So it seems like we're going for the second one here. Remember to keep your stop loss right there. Oh, not right there at 251, and your next entry, it is right here at 222.20. So far we are on a couple of trades. Bitcoin, it is actually the one that is giving me, that is itching a little bit, because there it is, we just got stopped out, and we're getting for the dynamic rate, just reading right here on my phone. All right, so this is gonna be the next thing that we're gonna be looking for, but only if we have this reversal or this rejection. So be patient. This might happen on the next 4 hours. So turn it back to you, Piper.
Awesome, phenomenal, appreciate it. Hey, by the way, Dave Digital said that's him at your window. Come let him in. It's hot outside. So that's all we got time for today, guys. A little wanted to jump in here and do a show. Gonna go check on the dog. Gotta go check on my dog. By the way, I told my kids that Gypsy is my favorite child. So they've been pushed out by the dog. So they hit me up for money, and I'm like, make better decisions in life. My dog needs $1,300 in vet bills. Done. Not a problem. So, favorite kid. And no, before you ask anybody in the chat, I'm not adopting anyone. JR username. Just let you guys know. Awesome, guys. I appreciate you all being here today. I hope you guys got something out of today's content. If you did, please smash up the like button, share it with a friend. We're growing. We're almost to 8,000 subscribers, so let's see if we can get ourselves there. Shout out to Emma Coiner. Appreciate you dropping in here today, lady. It's good to see you back active again in this space. So good seeing you in all these chats, and much love. Much love to all the moderators, Alexander G, 2Dub, Jesse Gellick. Appreciate you guys always moderating and keeping the chat clean. Even when I'm over here talking about pin 15s and all kinds of stuff about Buck's escapades over there. Buckscapades. I don't know. Buckscapades. I don't know what it is. Anyway, guys, appreciate y'all. We'll be back here tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, for another episode of the Morning Market Report. Make sure you tune in to OC Guy this evening with trade setups with the OC Guy and BC Port Corp. Will be back tomorrow morning. Until next time, guys, trade safe, use some risk management, and as always, peace, love, profits. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. People are watching. Do what's right. Later. That's the rap. Chart stack data never lie. Piper led the mission, OC in the sky. Spaghetti on the screen, but the vision stay prime. Chart prime visual, signals on time. Alumni strong, we built from the grind. Lessons in the market that'll outlive time. Knowledge is profit, you know how we run. Till the next one, stay sharp, get it done. You can't handle the truth. Emotional damage. We'll see you at the next one. What the fuck they're doing. Morning Market Report out. Boom shakalaka. We'll see you at the next one. Morning Market Report out. We'll see you at the next one. Morning Market Report. Ow.
That was awesome, dude!
Hey, it didn't break. What else you got?